Well, howdy, all you collector car fans out there. This is once again Jason, the owner and founder of Southern Motorsports. We got a great tales from the bush for you today. Let's do this. Call this one Ride Along. I think I was up in below. I think I was below Nebraska, between Wisconsin and Nebraska. I can't remember. But keep in mind when I make these videos, I'm just finding folders of pictures that I found that I took and putting together a bunch of pictures, and then I haven't even seen these pictures in probably 15 years, and I'm just doing the narration on the pictures that I found. So I hope you enjoy it. Continue watching. That right there was 69 Charger RT, and it was an actual Hemi car. Really cool Hemi car. It was completely untouched. Oh, there you go right there. Look at that Hemi engine. It's so hard to see original untouched Hemi engine in the 69 Charger. That was a real Hemi 69 Charger. That was a 69 Daytona right there. It was a 440 car. Beautiful car. Let me just give you a little bit of a background on how all these pictures came about while you're enjoying the pictures. I didn't just go and wait for somebody to call me and go take pictures of the collection. I spent 15 years on the road sacrificing everything to find these cars, document them, make sure everything was categorized, take pictures of them. Most of them I put for sale. Most of it, the biggest thing was to find these cars and document them. If somebody had a 69 Charger or a 70 Charger, whatever, sitting beside their house that I know everybody's stopping and asking about, I didn't stop. I never even bothered to stop. Didn't ask questions. Because people put cars like that there so they can have the entertainment of people stopping and asking about the car just so they can say it's not for sale. That's not what I did. I did a lot of research, a lot of technology went into it. And it was the older technology because it was a long time ago, but I went to world history libraries, looked at old newspaper clippings. Johnny drove a '69 Charger um, back in 1970 or '72 off the bridge, and when a car like that went off the bridge and into the water and stuff like that, they just left the car there because there was no point bringing it up. But 20 years later, 25 years later, that car, '69 Hemi Charger, sitting on the bottom of the water, I brought that car up because it was worth money. So a lot of these cars that you see in these pictures and stuff, it's a lot of hard work finding these cars. A lot of the comments that I got over the years was, I can't believe somebody's actually out there doing this. Like, I'm mapping the stuff out, and I had a GPS that was programmed to leave a blue line behind me so I would never go back over the same area. And I would get a lot of calls where I'd get into an area and I'd sell somebody's, Hemi Cuda, and the buddy would call, like this guy right here. This guy was way up in Nebraska. And he was like, man, I got some cars on my farm too. And it would just keep going and going and going. And I'd be in areas for months at a time. And there'd be some really cool cars. Like, just because somebody lived up in northern Nebraska doesn't mean back in 1970 they couldn't get a hold of a 440 71 Roadrunner, like you see right there. Back in the day, they had to drive something. When people were working in oil fields and stuff like that, they would order these cars. And, we never thought about it back then. Back in '71, I was born in 1971, but back then we never thought about the cars we would order. We just drove a car. And, maybe a younger person would come out of the military or something like that. He'd order a '67 Hemi GTX convertible just because he wanted that cool car, not knowing that it'd be like one of 7 cars ever to exist. That's not what it's all about. When I traveled around all over the United States and Canada, mapping out everything, I found 26,810 cars. Sure, look at that. Man, 6090 Daytona, original 440 car, yeah, but I had a lot of stuff taken off of it. It was there, right there. Can't even. Petty Blue, 1970 Superbird. The 440 car wasn't a six pack or anything. I don't remember what it was. Sitting in a bar. I just wanted to document these cars so I'd know where they were, know who had them. If they were for sale, they were for sale. I would list them. Whatever it was. That was a 1970 Charger, but I believe it was 446 pack car, if I remember right. But to me, they didn't have to be anything special. Like this Roadrunner here, it was '74 Roadrunner or something like that. It wasn't a very special car, not a lot of money in it. This old deuce sitting there, there wasn't a lot of money in it. It was about documenting, finding these cars, making sure I had them recorded for history and later purposes and stuff like that. Because I knew that one day that I would be like where I am right now, retired, sitting in my home, making the tales from the bush, There, 1970 Charger. That was a 318 car. That car had no rust on it. It was sitting in a junkyard in Omaha, I think. And here's some more of these cars sitting in Omaha. You see snow on the ground, stuff. Nothing special about that car right there. But you know what? I thought it would be cool to see the pictures of them later on in life. That right there for some reason was a weird car that had a lot of options on it, a lot of stuff on it, and he just was just completely untouched. And a lot of these cars that I dealt with were untouched. I mean, you know, a lot of stuff happened back in the day. So we take the car apart, do this, do that. That was a 318 Cornet, but not a spot of rust on it. I don't even know how that was possible. Not a spot of rust. But this was like this right here. Yeah, I think this is Nebraska, Waiteville, Iowa. Oh, Iowa, I think it was. There's a 69 Charger RT, all kinds of stuff piled on top of a real full 40 car. So like I said in the beginning, I just find these folders on my computer and I put a bunch of pictures in this program, and this narration is true and real. I haven't seen these pictures in a long time, and I'm just narrating as I go along. There's a couple times you see some nice cars sometimes. That's 1970 440 Cuda. Oh, that was cool right there. That was 1970 Super 446 back piston grip 4-speed in Queens, the Bronx. Queens, the Bronx, I think something like that. That was the interior of that other Cougar beforehand. But that guy built that Superbird in a little tiny garage in Queens. He did a great job too. I don't know how he did it. There's that 440 Cougar. Beautiful car. You know, sometimes I find a car that's nice. Sometimes I find a car that's not nice. It didn't matter to me. There you go, a real shaker hood car too. To me, it wasn't about finding cool cars. I wasn't going for rare cars, restored cars, nice cars. That was 1970 Challenger RC. I believe that was the six-pack convertible. It was about finding cars, documenting the cars, know where they are. If they were for sale, that's great. I sold them or tried to sell them. If not, at least I had documentation of where they were. There's that 70 petty blue 440 Superbird. That's untouched. You can't even fake that. That was a Hemi engine from another car that was not that Superbird. But you notice how they all say 2005 on them? That's what digital cameras were first coming out. I didn't know how to adjust the date, and everything I have for a long time all said that date on it. Look at that. WH23 VOG. Boy, that sounds like a six-pack car. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, same picture of that Cougar. This is the shifter sitting on the ground on the car with. No, that was that Superbird because the guy hadn't put the transmission in yet. It definitely was Nebraska. I remember this. Boy, these cars were junk. They weren't worth anything, but it was cool. So cool to see all these cars piled on top of each other. Polaras and all these other stuff piled into the woods. He had 1,100 cars. He wanted $1 million for everything. I mean, they were buried, and crush value on the car was like 450 grand, and I offered him $300,000. He wouldn't take it, and I think he had crushed them all. But there was a couple of cool cars, like that Cornet right there was a 383 air grabber car. But you know, he wouldn't let me buy just one or two Pinto station wagons, Pinto here, Pinto there. Oh, there was a lot of cool cars, but I think it wasn't worth the buyout. He had them double stacked. 1,141 cars, I believe it was. My crush value was, it just wasn't worth it. Like, it was smart for this guy to do this metal wise. And, you know, he could have sold all the parts. He was using a wheelchair. He was old. If you come by checking out our Tales from the Bush, we'll see you again soon.